I'm late, but I'm here, and that's all that matters. I have some family from out of town visiting, so it's very active around here right now. Trying to keep up with everybody. Let's make sure that this is working. YouTube's doing what they're supposed to do. Let's see. Yep, looks like they are. All right, we're good. Trying to get back on a regular schedule now that we're in the off season, or the summer, I should say, and school's out, so don't have it as many school functions I have to go to. Here we go. Too many cords, guys. Too many cords. How's everybody doing? Y'all having a good summer so far? I know I am. Adjust my microphone real quick. Yeah, and we're pretty excited too because Patreon page, we thought of some good perks to add to it. So we're gonna do what we did last year, the score prediction contest. So if you're a member of the Patreon page, doesn't matter which one, it can be the $2 all the way up to the highest one. But basically every week, excuse me, by the way, I just ate. Every week I pick a game during the college football season, and then I have my Patreons pick the score. And whoever comes the closest to the actual score with the correct winner wins $20 that week. And it's not a one and done. You can win as many times as you want. In fact, whoever wins the most times throughout the season gets a plaque, the championship plaque. I'll have to go back and check to see who won last year. I think it was Jim, but I could be wrong. So I have to go back and double check to see who won the score prediction contest last year. So we're going to do it again. I'll pick a game. You guys guess the score. Whoever comes the closest wins $20 every single week. And for whatever value that you're a member of, let's say you're a $2 Patreon, you get 2 guesses per week. $5, 5 guesses per week, and so on and so forth. So I'm pretty excited about that. And then on top of that, we're going to have actual live shows as far as watch parties. I don't think we had that last year. So, yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm going to let my Patreons, number one, choose which game to live stream. Now, this will be this particular perk will be for the $5 and up Patreons. So I'll let them pick what game we're going to live stream, and I'll send the links out to all the $5 and up Patreons, and you guys can it was Paul Riggs, my bad. Yes, it was Paul Riggs. And you guys can watch with me. So $5 and up Patreons get to pick the game we're going to live stream, and then you'll watch with me. So that should be very interesting. I'm interested to see if we're going to be watching more Big Ten games, Big 12 games, Pac-12, ACC, whatever. Maybe there'll be a big-time Group of 5 game that people want to watch. I'm excited about that. We've had Patreon around for a little over a year, but this is the first time that we've decided to do actual game live streams. And with Patreon, you can get away with it because it's unlisted. I'm not doing like a regular live show where I'm, showing everybody in the world a copyrighted, broadcast. It's a private group, small group, but, we get to watch a game together. And it's, majority vote is the game that we'll go with. So I'm excited about that. I hope you are. This coming season is going to be the best season for Gold and Blue, dude. It gets better and better. We've grown much faster than what I thought we would grow. So I am super, super excited. And over the past 2 days, the biggest things that I've been talking about on my videos, number one, the new Big 12 contract is out. And it looks like the Big 12 is actually going to make more money than they've ever made before. Having said that, still just a drop in the bucket compared to what the SEC and the Big Ten are making. So that was one thing. And then the other thing is it's starting to come out that Notre Dame is wanting to join the ACC by 2025. ripple effect for that. Of course, I've been talking about West Virginia going to the ACC for about, 10 months now. Let me count it off real quick. September, October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May, June. Yeah, 10 months. So, yeah, I've been talking about West Virginia to the ACC for 10 months. I will say this. There was one pretty substantial mistake that I made about it. I tried to give a timetable of when it would happen. I shouldn't have done that. That was stupid. I knew better. I didn't. That's one thing that I really didn't have any idea of what I was talking about. I was just going by how fast things were happening. So yeah, that was the big mistake that I made. And there's things that need to happen for West Virginia to get the formal invite. So that's what they're working on right now, including expanding the runway, academics. If you go and compare West Virginia's academics to the first ACC expansion, whenever they got, I think it was Louisville was the last one, and now West Virginia's academic ratings are much higher. Back then, we were in the 200s. Now I think we're at 160. So, yeah, we are actively improving our academics. So there's things in the background that West Virginia is accomplishing to make that happen. The thing that I'm trying to figure out, because it's going to happen, guys. The thing that I'm trying to figure out, okay, so we all know that the SEC and the Big Ten, they're good. Like, they're making money. They ain't going anywhere. They're not getting picked apart. ACC, Big Ten, here for life. Not going anywhere. The question is, who out of the other three conferences, Pac-12, Big 12, Big 10, gets picked apart or dissolves, and how many of them? Is it just one? Who is it? Is it two of them? Who is it? Or is it all three of them? Will it eventually be just the Big Ten and the SEC as far as FBS football? I don't know. I think the Big Ten and the SEC will get some more teams, but I think eventually one of those other three conferences will dissolve, and then the other two will combine. So we'll have three major conferences basically. So I would, if I had to guess, I would say, I don't know. I'd probably say the ACC and the Big 12 will eventually combine. That makes sense. And then the Pac-12 will get picked apart depending on North and South. So the northern part would probably go to the Big 10. Southern part could either go to the SEC or the Big 12 ACC combination. There's so many avenues and choices that this could go down. I don't know. But as usual, before we fully get started, let me remind everybody that's in the comments section, please hit the thumbs up or the thumbs down, either or. This is not about giving me a pat on the back. This is about growing the video. Hitting that like button or the down button, whichever you choose, helps grow this video. I say this, I make a point to say this every video because it actually works. I try to remind everybody about 20 minutes because, it does get larger. New people come in. So I try to remind the new people, hit the like button. That makes this video hit the YouTube algorithm. And then whenever it hits the YouTube algorithm, it gets suggested more. Whenever it gets suggested more people see it, more people click on it, and boom, we have a bigger audience. And you guys that hit the like button see your work, the fruits of your work. There you go. You can literally see, hey, I helped grow this video. So please hit the like button or the down button. Either way, that's what helps grow the videos. And I know you guys do it every single time, and I greatly appreciate it. But let's face it, we're all human, so I still try to put out that reminder. But y'all know that I appreciate you and that I appreciate y'all supporting the channel. If you have something you want to say to me or troll me or ask me a question directly, there's always the super chat option. It's that little $ you see down there on the bottom right. You can also do it through PayPal. Joey will post a link to the PayPal. I keep up with my PayPal on my phone, so if a message pops up on there, I'll read it out to the audience. So if you have a direct message you have for me, and one thing that we've been doing over the past few, I don't know, I'd say 3 or 4 live shows is if you want me to do a shoot from the hip, off the cup prediction for your team, it would be like super researched. It would be based more of, the general knowledge that I have for your team and the schedule of your team. So if you want me to do a quick prediction of your team based on my general knowledge of your team and your schedule for this year, hit that super chat button and let me know which team you want me to do it on. I can't remember who I've done it for already, but and things change too. So my prediction from the other day might change change this time because let's face it, the transfer portal and the NIL is crazy right now. Ever since that was passed and the transfer portal, basically no rules. Things change in a week's time. So you never know. You never know. That's why predictions change. That I will say, I will say this. That has made my actual prediction videos much more challenging because I want to do as many teams as I can before the season starts, but you don't know what's going to happen before the season actually starts. So they might gain a massive star or a massive athlete, or they might lose one, and you're like, well, but you got to stick with your prediction because you already put it out there. You can't really I guess you could update your prediction, but it's already out there. So even for us, your small time YouTubers, the NIL and the transfer portal has made life very difficult as far as doing videos. Maybe not so much live streams because usually nothing happens during a live stream. Hold on, guys. My kids are being loud. Tell them to go in there. Sorry, guys. We got let me count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 kids in the house right now. It's tough to keep the noise down at some point. But, we have one of those houses that's more longish, so maybe they can go. I'm trying not to be mean, but still, it's live show time, guys. It's live show time. Anyways, how's everybody doing? I'm trying to get back on schedule with my live shows now that summer's here and college football season. Who's excited about the college football season? I am super excited. I can't wait to live stream games and watch it with you guys. Maybe, for instance, maybe an Ohio State game gets played and we have some Ohio State subscribers that pick Ohio State game, and that's what we watch. You'll be watching it with me. I don't have a dog in the fight, but I will watch any college football game. That first week, whenever college football starts, I'll watch anything. Last year, it was what? It was either last year or the year before. Central Arkansas played Austin Peay, and that was the best thing in the world for me. 2 FCS teams playing a football game was the best thing to me because, it had been 6 months since college football. Guys, I know it seems like yesterday that the national championship was played and Georgia beat Alabama just like I predicted. But I'm telling you, it's we're about 2 months away from college football. How about that? Closer to 3, but it's less than 3 months. So I'm going to go with 2 3/4. We'll go with that. I'm excited about it. And as it gets closer and closer, I get more and more excited. But I'm going to try to stay on my my season prediction videos. I've put a few out there. I know I have a Notre Dame one out there. I know I have a USC one out there. I think I have my West Virginia one out there, if I'm not mistaken. I'll have to go back and double check. But I really need to get on that game right now. But there's something different every day when it comes to college football. So today, let me find it real quick. Yes, today I did a video on the teams in ESPN's way too early top 25 rankings. I don't know how close those will be to the actual rankings. I mean, does it really matter? Not really. Rankings don't matter until like 6-7 weeks into the year. But preseason, way too early top 25 teams. The video that I did today was who could have a rough September. All but 4 teams have a legitimate shot of losing either once or multiple times. I think Alabama's safe, and that's including their road trip to Texas. I know there's a chance Alabama could lose that, but not really. Alabama's way better than Texas right now, and they travel decently. I just think that there's no chance for Alabama to lose that. I just don't see it. Alabama is a different breed. And last year, I correctly predicted them losing on the road to Texas A&M because I thought they were going to take a slight step back, and they did. Still got to the national championship. This year is going to be their rebound year, and they're going to be mowing through everybody. So Texas won't be a problem. Dadgummit, I had it written down, but now I forgot. Where did I write that down? Crap. I know it was Alabama. I think Michigan was safe. Oklahoma State was safe, and Ole Miss was Ole Miss was safe. So those are the 4 teams that I think are safe through the month of September. After that, you get into conference play, and that's a whole different ballgame. So month of September, no issues. I'll go with Alabama, Michigan, Oklahoma State, and Ole Miss. All the other teams have at least one opportunity that they really might lose that game. Not just roundabout could, crazy things happen. No, legitimately. Number 2, Ohio State. It's at home. I do think Notre Dame's taking a step back, but, I mean, Notre Dame's a decent brand. They have decent talent. And we saw last year, Oregon went on the road and beat Ohio State. So it can be done. So that's why I'm saying never seen it. Ohio State isn't Alabama right now. They're on the next tier down. So that would be their only chance of losing in the month of September. For Georgia, I think Georgia has 2 opportunities. I think Georgia could lose to Oregon, although I don't see it happening. Chill out, Georgia fans. I don't see it happening, but, it's possible. But the second opportunity is at South Carolina. Y'all already know me. I've already predicted South Carolina to upset Georgia, and I'm sticking by it. I've even bet some people on it. I think I have $100. I can't. Who was it? SEC Dog, I think. I have $100 on that game. And I also have another $50 that Georgia reaches 8 wins. So I'm high on South Carolina. I think they did a lot this offseason. And it's not like they were coming from a 4-8 or a 5-7 year last year. They got to a bowl and finished 7-6. So 2 more wins out of the realm of possibility? I don't think so. Not with what they did in the offseason. And I think their schedule sets up a little bit better this year. So I think South Carolina has a real shot to upset Georgia. And Georgia lost, 3/4 of their defense. And that's what was historic about their team last year. They had a good offense, but they had a historic defense, and they blew everybody out. This year, Georgia will be in actual 50-50 football games. And when you get into those games, it falls on your quarterback. And I don't know if Stetson Bennett is good enough to win a game for Georgia. He's good enough to not lose a game. So if Georgia's ahead and it's up to him to not make a mistake to blow the game, I think he's good enough for that. I'm not sure if he's good enough to actually win the game when they're behind and the game is on the line. Number 4, USC. Why they're ranked that high, I don't know. Look, I think USC has a bounce back here, but number 4, you're basically saying they're a playoff team. That's nonsense. But in the month of September, number 4, USC, I think their biggest shot of getting upset would be at Stanford. And don't sleep on Fresno State either. Stanford is just, they're a pain in the rear end for USC. Although I do think USC's offense will be good enough to, score some points on that Stanford defense. And Stanford doesn't score points. So I give USC a much higher probability of beating Stanford this year. And remember, last year, I did predict USC to lose to Stanford at home. And this was back when USC was number 14 and Stanford was considered one of the worst in the Pac-12. Everybody was saying that was nonsense. People said, you must be addicted to losing money if you're predicting number 14 USC to lose to Stanford. It was a bad matchup, and I knew USC was overrated. This year, USC will be much better, and Stanford will still be bad. But it's still a chance for USC to get upset. It's a chance. I don't have that as one of their losses, but it's a chance. Number 5, Texas A&M. By the way, still going by ESPN's way too early top 25. Number 5, Texas A&M, who finished 8-4 last year. They have 2 decent chances. The first one is September 17th against the Canes. I don't think they lose that game, but Miami's going to be much better. It wouldn't totally blow my mind if Miami did upset Texas A&M. In fact, I'll see how Miami looks in their first game. I might actually lay some money on that game on the money line. It might be a long shot, but it would be a good enough payoff to lay some money on it because you never know. Texas A&M always loses to somebody that they shouldn't lose to, and Miami is going to be much better. Let's see. The next opportunity for Texas A&M, Arkansas in Arlington. Just like last year, Arkansas beat them. So, yes, that's a chance for Texas A&M to get upset in September. So, that's actually back-to-back weeks for Texas A&M where they're going to play a tough game. But neither one of those 2 games are they're not true road games. You have Arlington, which is neutral, and then Miami's at home. Staying with ESPN's way too early top 25, number 6, Utah. I think their only shot of getting upset in the month of September is on the road to Florida. And unfortunately, Utah fans, I think it's a pretty good chance. Upsets, the bigger upsets usually happen earlier in the year. And that's because, and it's usually on the road. And it's because teams don't know how bad they are yet, if that makes any sense. They haven't gone through half the season and accrued, like 3 or 4 losses. So this is a home game for Florida. I do think that Utah is the better team for sure, but it's on the road early in the season. I really think Florida can beat Utah. I really do. I think they have an excellent shot of beating Utah, actually. Then there's number 7, Notre Dame. Y'all know how I feel about Notre Dame. They lose Brian Kelly. Marcus Freeman thought that most of his coaching staff was going to stick around. That didn't happen. In fact, most of them left. I think that's a big deal. I think their offense is in rebuild mode. They'll be fine on defense. He was their defensive coordinator as well, so they'll be fine on defense. I'm just not confident in that offense. Well, the month of September, they get off to a tough schedule. Very first game, on the road to Ohio State. I have Notre Dame losing that. And then September 24th, a road trip to North Carolina. I have Notre Dame possibly losing to North Carolina on the road. That's still up in the air, 50-50. Notre Dame actually hasn't had that much trouble with North Carolina, even when North Carolina was supposed to be really, really good and Notre Dame had to go on the road. They still handled business, but this is a new year. Brian Kelly's gone, so yeah, it's very possible. Notre Dame could be walking into 2 losses and coming out of September with 2 losses. That's what I meant to say. 2 tough road trips early in the season. Number 8, NC State. Really, I mean, I said at East Carolina, and really that's the only thing that I see. I could go either way on that. It's early in the year. I think that's the first game, actually, on the road to East Carolina. East Carolina will be a better team, but on paper and athlete versus athlete, NC State is far superior. Problem is, what I said earlier, it's early in the season, and teams don't know that they suck. And I don't think East Carolina sucks, but they're just not as good as NC State. East Carolina could definitely upset NC State. So I'll be keeping my eye on the money line for that one as well. That might be worth a little, cross your finger bet. I'll look into that. Number 9, Michigan State. Really just one opportunity, but it's a big one at Washington State. I think Washington State's going to have a big rebound year this year. I really do. They got Michael Penix Jr. through the transfer portal. When Michael Penix Jr. first went to Indiana, he lit the football world on fire. Indiana was actually relevant there for a second. But of course he got injured twice. So if Michael Penix Jr. can keep from getting injured, he's gonna be an impact player for the Pac-12. So I definitely think Washington will be good in the first half of the season. And if Michael Penix Jr. can stay healthy, they'll be good in the second half of the season. I think Washington actually does upset Michigan State if Michael Penix Jr. is healthy in the first game. If he gets injured in practice, not sure about that. September 17th, I think Washington upsets Michigan State. Of course, I already talked about number 10, Michigan. I don't see any problems with them in September. Number 11, Oklahoma State. I don't see any problems with them. Number 12, Clemson. The only possible upset that I see is at Wake Forest on September 24th. That will be a test, but Wake Forest basically doesn't have a defense. They just don't. So I think Clemson will take care of business. I think their offense will score a lot more points than what they did last year. Clemson had a pretty good defense last year, but their offense was atrocious. Like, I couldn't believe what I was watching. DJ Uiagalelei was straight up scared to get hit. But fortunately, they have a nice backup quarterback. DJ might not even win the job because they're talking about this new guy taking over. But either or, you have options at Clemson this year. That matters. I think Clemson takes care of business on the road. Number 13, Houston. I do think Houston will be the best group of 5 team. But I will say, starting off the season with 2 straight road games, that's tough. I don't think I've ever seen that before. I really don't. They start on the road to UTSA, who will be one of the better group of 5 teams as well, and then on the road to Texas Tech. I think Texas Tech is not going to be a very good team at all. But once again, early in the season, they don't know how bad they suck. So Houston, man, they got to win back-to-back road games in the month of September to not start the season with the loss. That is tough. And they have a total of 6 road games. Houston has a tough schedule this year, guys. Number 14, Oklahoma. Once again, still going by ESPN's way too early top 25. On the road to Nebraska, September 17th. I actually think Nebraska will upset them. I really do. I think Oklahoma is actually one of the teams that I did a season prediction for, and I predicted to upset them. So, yes, I'm sticking with that. And then, of course, Kansas State. Kansas State has beaten Oklahoma recently. I think it was 2 years ago in Norman. Yeah, I think it was 2 years ago. It was in Norman. I'm telling you, don't count out Kansas State. And I think Kansas State will be much better. They got, who was it? Was it Casey Thompson or Adrian Martinez? I'm thinking Adrian Martinez is who Kansas State got. Yeah, they got Adrian Martinez. So their quarterback situation isn't like up in the air. I don't think Adrian Martinez is great, but for what Kansas State runs, I think he's perfect for the job. So Oklahoma, Upset alert. 2 games early in the season. At Nebraska, who I have Oklahoma losing to, and then Kansas State at home. I still think Oklahoma is capable of having a 10-win season, though. But if they lose those 2 games, they have to win out. Number 15, Pitt. Pitt has 3 legitimate chances of losing in the month of September. The first game, you already know it, the backyard brawl. Pitt lost Kenny Pickett and Jordan Addison. That's probably, if you said, hey, pick out 2 guys, which 2 guys would hurt Pitt the most if you took them from Pitt? It would have been Kenny Pickett and Jordan Addison, and that's exactly what happened. And then West Virginia in the offseason had a massive offseason. We went out and hired Graham Harrell. Graham Harrell attracted JT Daniels, and boom, West Virginia has an offense. We've already had a defense. Now we have an offense. Pitt's on upset alert in the backyard brawl in that first game. But then after that, they get Tennessee at home. Tennessee is going to be much better this year. Pitt a little down, Tennessee a little up. Could get upset. And then, of course, the rematch from last year. They go on the road to Western Michigan. Last year, they got beat by Western Michigan at home. That was a great day, by the way, guys. That was the day I went to the Virginia Tech, West Virginia game. And, of course, West Virginia goal line stand beat Virginia Tech. And then over on the scoreboard, it flashed the final score of the Pitt-Western Michigan game. And lo and behold, Western Michigan upset Pitt. That was a great day. I remember that. And so Pitt, 3 opportunities. I think your best case scenario for Pitt is 1 loss coming out of that. I do not think that Pitt comes out of the month of September without a loss. I don't think it's happening. Number 16, Oregon. Of course, Georgia and Atlanta. I think Oregon loses that game, but if they were to survive that game, then they have BYU at home on September 17th, and then they go on the road in the Pac-12 at Washington State. In Washington State, they're not an elite team, but I think Washington State is a bowl team this year. So going on the road early to a potential bowl team, crazy atmosphere. They also have 3 opportunities to grab a loss, and I think one of them for sure against Georgia. Couple losses for Oregon before they get out of the month of September. Could be a rough month for Oregon fans, guys. Number 17, Wake Forest. Quick reminder, still going by ESPN's Way Too Early Top 25, just in case you're wondering. Number 17, Wake Forest. I think their biggest opportunity to get upset. Clemson at home, September 24th, and I do think Clemson beats them. I don't know if that'll be an upset. Clemson will probably be favored, but I don't think Wake Forest gets out of the month of September without a loss. Number 18, Baylor. They have at BYU on the 10th and then at Iowa State on the 24th. If I had to pick the games, I would say lose at BYU and win at Iowa State. That's how I would pick it. But bottom line is 2 chances for Baylor to grab an early loss. That's a tough way to start the year. Now number 19, BYU. Of course, they get Baylor at home on the 10th, but then they have to go on the road to Oregon on the 17th. So BYU has a 50-50 chance of grabbing a loss in the month of September. What I will say, though, I will say this. I think Baylor has the bigger shot of grabbing a loss early in the season. Number 1, it's head-to-head against BYU. Number 2, it's on the road. And number 3, Oregon's not going to be all that great. BYU could go on the road and beat Oregon. They could. I don't think Oregon's going to be a bad team, but I do think it's a slight rebuild year, maybe an 8-4 or 9-3 year. So BYU could definitely go on the road and beat Oregon. It's plausible. So if I had to pick one of the 2, confident that one will make it through without a loss and confident that one will lose, I would say BYU gets through without a loss and Baylor grabs the loss. But then number 20, Arkansas, they have Cincinnati at home to start the year, South Carolina at home the next week, and then Texas A&M in Arlington, Texas. That's a tough 3-game stretch to start the year. Fortunately for them, the first 2 games are at home, and I think they win both of them. But then to follow that up, they have to go to Arlington and play Texas A&M. Not so sure about that. But they're probably favored in all 3 of those games. unless people are going by recruiting and not by coaching. So we'll see how that goes. But that's still tricky, guys. Number 21, Ole Miss. Didn't see any problems with them early in the season. I didn't see any issues. Maybe I missed something. I don't know. But their September looked halfway decent. The last four, I only saw one opportunity. The first one was Kentucky on the road to Florida. Same thing with Utah, except in this scenario, Kentucky actually has history going against them as well. Historically, Kentucky has been horrible against Florida. That's why last year beating Florida was a massive deal for Kentucky, and they had to hold on. That was a close game. Florida was not very good last year, and Kentucky had to hold on. I think it was an interception that put the game away and beat Florida at home. This year, it's on the road early in the year. I think Kentucky drops that game. Then the next team, number 23, Cincinnati at Arkansas, first game. I think Cincinnati drops that. Number 24, Tennessee. Their only opportunity on the road to Pitt. I think they actually take care of business and beat Pitt. Tennessee's offense is going to be scary, scary good this year. And then finally, number 25, Iowa. Their only opportunity is going to be a rivalry game at home against Iowa State. Now, thing about that game is Iowa has beaten Iowa State 6 straight years. Okay? 6 straight years. But, and you know what? Let me actually look that up to make sure I'm 100% accurate. Give me 1 second, guys. There we go. But they've mostly been close games. For 2017, Iowa beat Iowa State 44-41. Hold on. 2018, I mean, fairly close, 13-3. That looks like a blowout, but not really. That's a close game. I think 2019 was an actual blowout. Let me check here. 2019, no, that was a 1-point win by Iowa. So 2019 was a close win as well. Maybe I was thinking of 2016. 2020, there we go. 27-17. I mean, that's still close. That's still close. And then last year, crap. Come on, you stupid. There we go. Then last year, Iowa won by 10 as well. 20. Maybe that was the one I looked at. Well, what was 2020 then? Hold on. There we go. 2020. No. Was that back to back? Oh, that's crazy. All right. So 2021 for sure was 27-17. They're not showing me 2020. Why? Did they? Oh, they didn't play. Duh. They didn't play because of COVID. I gotcha. So, but 2016, I think it was a blowout, and that was the last time there was a big blowout. Let me make sure. Yes, 42-3. I think that was the year. I think that was either 1 or 2 years before Matt Campbell got there. Yikes. Talk about a blowout. There's something I was looking for. Hold on, guys. It was a strength of schedule thing, which I'm going to do a video on, but I haven't done one on it yet. Oh, here we go. Here we go. So, time to talk about strength of schedule, and it does matter. Strength of schedule matters. And you kind of want it kind of in the middle because you don't want to be too easy to where people are like, you haven't played anybody. If you ever played anybody tough, you get beat. Kind of like 20, what was it? 20. It was either 2013 or 2014. It was the year West Virginia had 10 wins in the Big 12. Well, that record was misguiding because the only 2 teams that were good that we played that year, Oklahoma and Oklahoma State, we lost to. And then going to the bowl against Miami, I said, guys, we're going to get whooped by Miami because we're overrated right now, and that's exactly what happened. So you don't want your schedule to be too easy and then get exposed against the tougher teams and then in the bowl. But at the same time, let's be real. You don't want your schedule to be overwhelmingly tough because you're going to pick up some losses simply because your schedule is tough. It's tough to beat a really good team over next week to the week after that to the week after that to the week week after week after week. That's not sustainable. So you want your strength of schedule to be kind of sort of in the middle. Not too easy, but definitely not too hard. So from last year, we'll move from last year to this year, okay? Last year, the top 30 toughest schedules. Number 30, Notre Dame. We already know they went 11-2, so maybe they benefited a little bit from an easier schedule, and they actually had some pretty good talent. Number 29, Kansas State. They went 8-5. I think their schedule is going to be about the same this year. Number 28, Baylor. That kind of makes me raise my eyebrow because, that's not like super difficult. That's not top 10. It's right there in the middle. What if that would have been a more difficult schedule for Baylor? Would they still have gone 12-2? Something you got to ask yourself, Baylor fans, because I don't know the answer. That was a really good team, but you did benefit from a not easy schedule, but not brutal schedule. Number 27, Miami. They went 7-5, so they didn't benefit. Even if it was an easier schedule, they didn't benefit from it. But the higher we go, the more difficult. Florida State went 5-7 in a just outside of the top 25 difficult schedule. So Jacksonville State was probably the easiest opponent on there, and they got beat by Jacksonville State. So strength of schedule meant nothing for Florida State last year. All right, so it's time for my midstream reminder, guys. If you haven't hit the like button, thumbs up button, or the thumbs down button, please do so. It helps the video hit the YouTube algorithm, and whenever that happens, it gets suggested more. More people see it, more people click on it, and we have more people in the chat. You can ask the people that have been here a while. I encouraged them to do that earlier. They did, and they're seeing the video grow. So if you guys do it, it'll grow even more. I try to remind the new viewers to hit the thumbs up or the thumbs down. That's how you grow a video right there. All right, back to strength of schedule. Number 25, Michigan State. So they were a top 25 difficult schedule. They went 11-2. I think that's a combination of both. If you look at Michigan State's stats last year, though, they didn't dominate anything. They didn't have a great offense. They didn't have a great defense either. And we all watched that Michigan game where they literally wiped off a touchdown, and that's when the momentum of the game shifted. So Michigan State definitely benefited from home cooking. I'm definitely interested to see how they do this year. Do they retain? Because from what I'm seeing, they're going to have a little bit more difficult schedule this year. Number 24, Georgia Tech. They just flat out sucked. 3-9 last year. And I think their schedule is going to be way more difficult this year. I don't know. I don't know when Georgia Tech will make a bowl again. I don't know. Maybe their best shot was last year before getting a new coach. Who knows? 23rd most difficult schedule. That would be my team, West Virginia. 6-7. So it was kind of tough, but it could have been worse. We had a terrible offense. We had an awful offense. It will improve this year. Our offense is going to be much better. Number 22, Michigan. Not quite a top 20 tough schedule. They went 12-2, but then in the playoffs when they met up with Georgia, they got blasted just like everybody else except for Alabama in the SEC Championship. The 21st most difficult schedule from last year was Oklahoma State, and they still went 12-2. I think Oklahoma State takes a step back this year. I do. Mike Knowles, their defensive coordinator, he's gone. And we all know that the strength of Oklahoma State last year was their defense. And they lost some studs on that defense. Look for Oklahoma State I think Oklahoma State will drop down to a 7-5 or 8-4 team. Number 20, Colorado. They went 4-8. It wouldn't matter if their strength of schedule would have been 20 or 60. They were not very good last year. Number 19, Ole Miss, and they still went 10-3. Hats off to Ole Miss last year. Y'all had a top 20 difficult schedule. You still went 10-3, and I think you'll be even better this year. And as I'm scanning the future, your schedule is going to be much easier this year. So look for Ole Miss to have a special season. I'm telling you right now. Number 18, this is where Penn State is. And I think Penn State's schedule gets a little bit easier as well. So I think Penn State will improve on their total wins this year as well. Last year, they went 7-6, barely made a bowl. Number 17, Maryland. Maryland's going to have about the same as far as a difficult schedule this year. Last year, they went 7-6. They did beat West Virginia, so kudos for that. Number 16, Mississippi State. I think they jumped significantly as far as difficult schedule. But last year, they went 7-6. Number 15, Kansas. Well, they don't have to play themselves, so that's taken off the board. But it looks like their schedule will lighten up quite a bit this year. They went 2-10 last year. That's not good. Number 14, Illinois, 5-7 last year. As I'm looking down the list, it looks like their schedule lightens up significantly, actually. Number 13, Texas. Don't blame it on the schedule, Texas. You were just bad last year. 5-7 last year. Schedule's going to remain about as difficult as what it was last year. The 12th most difficult schedule was Arkansas. Preseason, Arkansas had the most difficult schedule, but postseason, number 12, they'll stay about the same. They went 9-4 last year, so they'll be tested again this year. Number 11 was Iowa. They went 10-4. Iowa's schedule looks to lighten up just a little bit, so we'll see if they can improve on their win total. TCU had the number 10 most difficult schedule. That surprised me. They went 5-7. I think their schedule lightens up a lot, but unfortunately, I think they're going to be worse. Number 9's difficult schedule was Ohio State. I think that was drawing Oregon in the out of conference. They went 11-2, and it looks like their schedule lightens up quite a bit as well. Number 8 was Alabama. Alabama's going to stay about the same, maybe a little bit more difficult. Of course, they went 13-2. With Alabama, it seems like strength of schedule doesn't matter anyways. Number 7 was Auburn, and that schedule whooped their rear end last year. They went 6-7, and it looks like, hold on. It does lighten up. Maybe Auburn can have a bounce back year. We'll see. Number 6 was Stanford. They were terrible last year, 3-9. It looks like theirs lightens up a lot. Number 5 was Purdue, 9-4. And this year lightens up a lot, so maybe Purdue does improve on their record. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong about Purdue. Number 4 was LSU. They went 6-7. They'll stay in the top 10 as far as difficult schedule, but I think LSU will be much better. Number 3 was Wisconsin. They went 9-4. Wisconsin lightens up quite a bit. Number 2, check this out. Number 2, Nebraska went 3-9. The best 3-9 team in history, though, because all but one of their losses was by one possession, and then the one that wasn't was a 9-point loss to Ohio State. It looks like, hold on. It looks like their schedule does lighten up a bit. So Nebraska, that's another reason why I think Nebraska will make a bowl. And of course, this one surprised me. Any guesses before I reveal the number 1 most difficult schedule in the nation? Do we have any guesses in the chat? I'm going to give y'all an opportunity. Any guesses? Who had the most difficult schedule from last year? What would your guess be? Who had the toughest schedule in 2021? Who had the toughest schedule? Harry Leg. I like your YouTube thing, by the way. Harry Leg says Vandy. The real MVP says Arkansas. Both of those are incorrect. Giovanni Campus says Razorbacks. No, well, preseason, yes. I'm talking about postseason. Rams or Cowboys, that's NFL. I have no idea. BYU, no, they did not. I don't think BYU even had top 30. I'll give this another minute and then I'll reveal it. I wanted to give everybody equal opportunity. Who had the toughest schedule last year? Toughest schedule. Toughest schedule. Toughest schedule. Any other guesses? Texas A&M for Joey. Nope, it wasn't Texas A&M. Wasn't Texas A&M. Auburn. Good guess. Good guess. But no, Auburn had number 7. So LSU. Nope. That's a good guess though. LSU was number 4. The team that had wasn't Tennessee. The team that had the most difficult schedule last year, Indiana. Indiana. How about that? Indiana. Yeah, that surprised me as well. Indiana. Yeah, I honestly didn't see that coming. But according to the FPI, Indiana had the most difficult schedule from last year, and they went 2-10, so they got hammered by their difficult schedule. Now for this year, who David was right. Did he guess that before I said that? Or did he? I wasn't paying attention. My bad. But for this year, preseason, according to the FPI, who has the top 25 most difficult schedule this year? Starting at number 25, Missouri. They're out of conference games. Louisiana Tech, Kansas State, New Mexico State. That's not that tough. But they're road trips. They got 5 of them. The Kansas State game. That's a road trip. Auburn, Florida, South Carolina, Tennessee. That's tough. It could be tougher, but yeah, I could see that. Top 25, yeah, but I've seen tougher schedules. Number 24, this one might surprise you. Louisville, out of conference. UCF, South Florida, and Kentucky. Louisville has 6 road trips this year. 6. Oh, yeah, I was actually keeping up with that storm that had a tornado warning. Sorry, guys. And I need to check that because I got family members up there. Y'all give me 1 second, guys. Make sure it's not in a... I think they're good. I don't think they're warned anymore. I think it's in Ohio. I think it expired. Yep. That was a nasty storm, though. There's another storm below it that could get warned. Anyways, back to the this year's top 25. Number 24, Louisville. 6 road trips. Syracuse, UCF, Boston College, Virginia, Clemson, Kentucky. Honestly, I think Louisville's schedule needs to be higher than number 24. That's rough. That is rough right there. 6 road trips, and your out of conference includes, I know they play Kentucky every year, still counts as an out of conference. And a group of 5 UCF, that's arguably one of the best group of 5 teams you could schedule for out of conference. I would have them higher. But number 23 is going to be Penn State. They're out of conference. Ohio, Auburn, and Central Michigan. Their road trips, Auburn, Michigan, Indiana, Purdue, and Rutgers. So they have 5 road trips. Auburn, Michigan, Indiana, Purdue, and Rutgers. I see that the trips to Auburn, Michigan, and Purdue being rough, but Indiana and Rutgers, they're not going to be very good. And the out of conference, once again, Auburn on both sides of that. I'm not sure about Penn State's SOS on that one. I think they actually have an easier schedule than last year. But that's what FPI says. Number 22, Michigan State. So yeah, there's jump up a little bit. Out of conference, Western Michigan, Akron, and Washington. Washington is what bumps up their out of conference. Road trips. Washington, that's a road trip. and Washington has Michael Penix Jr. now. So Washington, Maryland, Michigan, Illinois, and Penn State. The only way that could be worse is if you swap maybe a Maryland or an Illinois for an Ohio State. That would be worse. But that's still decent, and that's why I think Michigan State takes a small step back this year. I still think they're a bowl team, though. Number 21, Syracuse, out of conference. And by the way, I'm not counting FCS on here. I don't think FCS really affects your strength of schedule. So not counting FCS. Syracuse, out of conference. UConn and Purdue. That's not that bad. And they get Purdue at home, actually. They're road trips. They get 5 of them. But one of them is UConn. They do get Clemson on the road. They do get Pitt on the road. They do get Wake Forest on the road. Oof. And they get Boston College at home. That's a tough road slate. Clemson, Pitt, Wake Forest, 3 of the best teams in the ACC, and then Boston College, who's up and coming. Syracuse probably not going to get to a bowl again. Sorry, guys. Sorry, fruit fans. That's not good. But number 20, now we're in the top 20, according to FBI, most difficult schedules in 2022. Wisconsin. They have Washington State and New Mexico State for their out-of-conference. Let's see. Road trips. They got 5 of them. Ohio State, Northwestern, Michigan State, Iowa, Nebraska. Ooh, that is tough. I thought maybe Wisconsin was going to have a big bounce back here. I'm not so sure now. That's a tough road slate right there. Ohio State, Northwestern, and Michigan State, Iowa, Nebraska. Ooh, man. I don't know, Badger fans. I don't know. Number 19 is going to be West Virginia. Yeah, we have a top 20 most difficult schedule. We will be tested. Our out-of-conference rivalries, basically. Pitt, Virginia Tech, both of them on the road. West Virginia has 6 road trips this year. My gosh. I didn't realize that. Ugh. We have Pitt, Virginia Tech, Texas Tech, Iowa State, Oklahoma State. So the good news is our road slate in the Big 12, not all that difficult. Maybe the last 2, Iowa State and Oklahoma State, could be challenging. And then Texas, you never know. But West Virginia, number 19 in most difficult schedule. Number 18 is going to be Maryland. They're out of conference. Buffalo, Charlotte, SMU. Road slate, Charlotte, Michigan, Indiana, Wisconsin, Penn State. Oh, did you hear those 3? Michigan, Wisconsin, Penn State. Terp fans, man, can y'all catch a break? Ugh. That's not good. That is not good. Yeah, that might be tough. Well, according to FBI, it is tougher than West Virginia's. Number 17, Ole Miss, a little bit tougher this year. They have, in the out-of-conference, they have Troy, Tulsa. Can't read my own writing. Troy, Tulsa, and Georgia Tech. That's not tough at all. So their road slate better be really freaking tough. Georgia Tech, Vanderbilt, LSU, Texas A&M, Arkansas. So those last 3 are challenging, but number 17, not so sure about that. Not so sure about that. I don't think Ole Miss has a number 17 tough schedule. I really don't. Maybe top 25, but number 7, Georgia Tech and Vanderbilt on the road aren't exactly powerhouse. So I actually disagree with that one. All right, let's see. Number 16, Iowa. Of course, they have Iowa State and Nevada out of conference. Their road games, Rutgers, Illinois, Ohio State, Purdue, Minnesota. See, I don't think Iowa should be that high. I don't think that's as difficult as what I've seen. Now, Ohio State on the road, yes. Purdue on the road, could be. But Rutgers, Illinois, maybe Minnesota, and then they're out of conference. Now, that does not add up to a top 16 tough schedule. I'm sorry, it just doesn't. Let's move on, though. Number 15 is Florida. Out of conference, Utah, South Florida, Florida State. That's not bad. It's not bad. Road slate, they only got 4. And that's Tennessee, Texas A&M, Vanderbilt, Florida State. That is not a top 15 tough schedule. Are you freaking kidding me? Who came up with that ranking? That doesn't make sense. Tennessee, Texas A&M, Vanderbilt, Florida State are your road games, and that's top 15. There ain't no way. They're just no. That's wrong. Flat out wrong. That's not even like an argument. That's not a debate. That is not a top 15 difficult schedule. No, sir. That's trying to pad the SEC again. That's what that is. That's not a top 50. That's not even top 25. Give me a freaking break. Get that crap out of here. Number 14, Texas. Out of conference. UL Monroe, UTSA, Alabama. Yep, that'll do her. Alabama in the out of conference will bump your difficulty up. What does their out of conference look like? Let's see. Texas Tech, not out of conference, road slate. Texas Tech, Oklahoma State, Kansas. Oh, what? You see what they did? Because Texas has Alabama in the non-conference, even though it's at home, that makes them a top 14 difficult schedule. But their road slate, Texas Tech, Oklahoma State, that could be, well, two challenging road games, Oklahoma State, Kansas State, but that's it. That's not top 15 either. No. 13, Arkansas, out of conference, Cincinnati, BYU, and Liberty. That's pretty decent. What's funny is you look at their out of conference, and not one of those are Power 5 teams as of right now, but all three of them decent. I think they're all home games though. No, BYU's in Las Vegas. Excuse me. No, that's straight. That's a straight road game. Excuse me, my bad. Road trips: Mississippi State, BYU, Auburn, Missouri. I don't know about that because usually it's 4 road trips for SEC scheduling. Give me 1 second, guys. There we go. Let me know. That can't be right. There's gonna be error user or user error. Or maybe they're counting the Texas A&M game a road because last year it was a road for Texas A&M. Did I miss one? Where am I at? Arkansas, Auburn, Missouri. No, I did not miss one at Mississippi. No, Mississippi State, BYU. Nope, I did not miss one. So what they're doing is they're counting Texas A&M a true road, even though it's a neutral. Last year, Texas A&M counted it as a true road. This year, it's Arkansas. So, but as far as a top 15 schedule, I don't see it, guys. I mean, the out of conference is halfway decent, but none of them are Power 5, and the road slate is not the most challenging SEC road slate. One of your road trips is BYU. That's significant, but your other 3, Mississippi State, Auburn, and Missouri, I just don't see it. I don't see it, guys. I don't see it. Number 12, Notre Dame. Now, here's the weird thing about Notre Dame. They're not in a conference, so what do you count as they're out of conference? Well, since they're affiliated with the ACC, anything not ACC, I'll count as non-conference. So, here's Notre Dame's out of conference slate. Ohio State, Marshall, Cal, BYU, Stanford, UNLV, Navy, USC. Half of it trash, half of it decent. Road slate, Ohio State, North Carolina, Syracuse, USC. I don't see that as a top 12, a top 15. I just don't. Maybe top 25, top 20, but not borderline top 10. Sorry, Notre Dame fans. Tougher than last year, though, for sure. Number 11, Rutgers. Out of conference, Boston College and Temple. That is a joke of an out of conference, so I'm already questioning this. However, 6 true road trips. Okay. Both of their out of conference games are on the road. Okay, so both Boston College and Temple are on the road. Not exactly intimidating, but they also have Ohio State on the road, Minnesota on the road, Michigan State on the road, and Maryland on the road. For the simple fact of having 6 road trips, maybe I could see it. Top 15, not sure about number 11, but I could see it. Now we're in the top 10. Number 10, Indiana, out of conference. Western Michigan and Cincinnati. That's not brutal. And both of those are... No, Cincinnati's on the road. Challenging. They do have 5 road trips. Cincinnati, Nebraska, Rutgers, Ohio State, Michigan State. That is a top 10 tough schedule. I agree with that. Number 9, LSU. Out of conference, Florida State, New Mexico, UAB. That's not difficult at all. I'm sorry. Road games, Auburn, Florida, Arkansas, Texas A&M. You got to be kidding me. That's not top 10. Trying to prop up the teams again. That's not top 10. First of all, Florida State, New Mexico, and UAB, that's an easy out of conference. And then your 4 road trips, Auburn, Florida, Arkansas, Texas A&M. 4 middle of the road SEC teams. None of those teams are elite. That is not a top 10 schedule. No. And that's one of the reasons why I have LSU having a big bounce back year. They got Brian Kelly, Jaden Daniels, and this schedule isn't that difficult. I don't care what this is saying. No, sir. Number 8, South Carolina, out of conference. Georgia State, Charlotte, and then, of course, Clemson. So if you take off Clemson, that's a crap out of conference. Now, road trips. Arkansas, difficult. Kentucky, difficult. Vanderbilt, cake. Florida, could be difficult. Clemson, extremely difficult. Yeah, I guess if you combo the two, it could be a top 10. But I would say more borderline top 15. But I'm okay with that. Number 7, Texas A&M, out of conference. Appalachian State, the Canes, and UMass. All at home. Doesn't sound all that difficult. Road trips. Mississippi State, Alabama, South Carolina, and Auburn. Yeah, okay. I'm good with that then. Mississippi State, on the road, that could be challenging. Alabama, that's definitely difficult. South Carolina, they're going to be much better. And then Auburn, I'm okay with that. Yeah, that's a tough schedule. Joey Foster with the $1.49 super sticker. Appreciate your support, bud. If anybody wants to ask me a direct question or get my either my prediction for your team live prediction, or you can suggest a video idea, any of that stuff. We have the super chat option, which is the $, any amount, and then type your message in, and I will read it. Be a troll account, can be a question. If you want me to do a prediction live, that's fine as well. Whatever you want me to do, we're good. College football related. All right, so number 6. By the way, I was okay with Texas A&M at number 7. Number 6, Alabama. Okay. Out of conference, Utah State, one of the better group of 5 teams. Texas and UL Monroe. They're trash. They do have 5 road trips this year. Okay. All right. They don't have to play themselves. But they have Texas on the road, Arkansas on the road, Tennessee on the road, LSU on the road, Ole Miss on the road. This is definitely... Bravo, Alabama. Yes, I would put that top 5. That's a tough schedule. That is a tough schedule. Well done. Tim Prangley with the $1.99 super sticker. I appreciate you, bud. You're a great supporter of Golden Blue, dude. I appreciate you. Yeah, Alabama. I agree with that. I would actually put Alabama in the top 5. That surprised me. All right, now we're in the top 5. Let's see how much I agree with this and how much you agree with this. Top 5 according to the FPI. Tennessee. All right. Out of conference, Ball State, Pitt, and Akron. Only see one halfway decent team in the out of conference. So already a little bit of issues. Now, road trips. They got 5 of them. Pitt, it's decent. LSU, that's tough. Georgia, yet South Carolina. And then Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt's trash. But the first 4, I'd have Alabama above Tennessee, but I'm okay with Tennessee where they're at. I would have Alabama above them. I think Alabama's schedule is more difficult. Number 4, Vanderbilt. Actually, I expected this because they got 6 true road games. But they're out of conference. Hawaii, Wake Forest. Wake Forest is a good ACC team. And Northern Illinois. So not a brutal out of conference. Respectable Vanderbilt. Road trips. There's 6 of them. Hawaii, Northern Illinois. So 2 of their out of conference are on the road. But after that, Alabama on the road. Oof. Georgia on the road. Yikes. Missouri, and then Kentucky. Oh my gosh, yeah. That's tough. That's yikes. I'm not sure if Vanderbilt has an FCS. I think they do. Elon. That might be the only win y'all squeeze out. Ugh. That's tough. Number 3, Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech. Out of conference. Ole Miss, UCF, and Georgia. Whoa. By far the toughest out of conference I've seen so far. Whoa. Respect. Road trips. 6 road trips to go with it. What were y'all thinking, Tech? What? Who thought of this schedule? This is terrible. So you're out of conference. Brutal. Ole Miss, UCF, and Georgia. And then you have 6 true road trips. Here we go. That UCF game on the road. Pitt is on the road. Florida State, Virginia Tech. That's a tough road environment. North Carolina is going to be a good ACC team, and then Georgia on the road. Yeah, that's the most difficult schedule I've seen so far. Georgia Tech fans have got to be having nightmares right now reading their schedule. That's awful. That's just awful. That's mean. That schedule's mean. I feel bad for Sea Dog. I really do. That's oof. That's a mean schedule right there. And they're saying there's 2 more schedules more difficult than that. Oh my gosh, it's like watching a horror movie. I'm afraid to look. I gotta look though. I gotta look. Here we go. Number 2, Mississippi State. Out of conference. Memphis, Arizona, Bowling Green. Georgia Tech has that beat in the out of conference for sure. So right now, I disagree. Road games. One of their out of conference. Arizona, that's trash. Kentucky, LSU, respectable. Alabama, okay. Alabama and Ole Miss. So it's those last 3. LSU, Auburn. Keep reading that wrong. LSU, Alabama, and Ole Miss. However, that's brutal. Not going to lie. However, Georgia Tech's schedule more difficult because of the combination of their out of conference. See, Georgia Tech gets Ole Miss and Georgia. So that covers up Ole Miss and Alabama. So what we have left is Georgia has UCF, and Mississippi State has LSU as far as toughest ones left. Well, they still have North Carolina, Virginia Tech, and Florida State on the road. Georgia Tech has a more difficult schedule than Mississippi State. I do think Mississippi State has a more difficult schedule, but that Georgia Tech, that's a horror show right there. That's awful. All right, so the number 1 most difficult schedule this year is supposedly Auburn. Okay. Out of conference. San Jose State, Western Kentucky, and Penn State. I think Georgia Tech has you beat in the out of conference. But let's go to the road games. Georgia, Mississippi State, Ole Miss, and Alabama. I am declaring this, guys. I am declaring this, all right? Auburn and Mississippi State, yes, they have difficult schedules. I would say top 10. but I am declaring Georgia Tech having the most difficult schedule in the nation. That's how I feel. I think Georgia Tech has the most difficult schedule in the nation. In the out of conference, they get Ole Miss, UCF, and Georgia. That's rough. In their road slate, 6 of them: UCF, Pitt, Florida State, Virginia Tech, North Carolina, and Georgia. That is brutal. Number one, Georgia Tech fans, you're not getting to a bowl. It's too tough of a schedule. You'd have to be Alabama to have that schedule and get to a bowl, and you're definitely not. That is not good. You already know I'm going to make a video about that, but I had to give y'all a sneak preview on it. And I definitely disagree with the FPI top 25 most difficult schedule. Personally, I'm not going to sit here and re-rank them as we go, but Georgia Tech has the most difficult okay, guys. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's 8 of their games right now. I don't see them winning any of those games. What's the rest? I'm curious now. Like, seriously, hold on. The other 4 games. Maybe they grab an FCS. Maybe they luck out and grab an FCS. Western Carolina. So they do grab Western Carolina. So let's look at their home games and see if they have a shot. Well, their first game is Clemson at home. That's a loss. Western Carolina, that's their FCS. That's a home. So I'll give them a win. They also get Duke at home. I'll give them another win right there. Virginia at home. You know what? I'll give them a win against Virginia. I will. And then Miami at home. So from what I'm seeing, Georgia Tech is going to repeat or worse. That was best case scenario right there. 3-9. That is best case scenario, people. Best case. Best case. Man, what a horror show. But tomorrow I will pump out a video giving my top 25 most difficult schedule because I do not agree with that at all. Georgia Tech, number one at something, and that is the most difficult schedule. But guys, I got to run because I have dinner. I'm hungry, guys. I'm hungry. We're having we are having chili and what was the other thing we were having? There was something else. Can't remember. But I'm excited about the chili part anyways. I like those saltines. I like crunching those up like a layer of saltines. I like cheese on my chili, and I also like sour cream on my chili. I'm a little weird when it comes to my chili, but it's a lot of flavors. I like a lot of flavor, not just one flavor. I mean, it's the main flavor, and you get a big scoop out of it, and that's the biggest part of the flavor. But there's layers to it, and it's just I like it a lot. Now, I don't like it very often, but if it's been a while and I'm in the mood for chili, it's really, really good. And it has been a while, and I'm in the mood for chili, so I have a feeling that it's gonna be pretty good. And no matter what Pitt fans think, losing Jordan Addison and Kenny Pickett and gaining Keaton Slovis and a bunch of transfers from a group of 5 team does not equal out, guys. And I'm not predicting Pitt to fall off a cliff or be terrible or miss a bowl or anything like that, but Pitt is not going to beat more than 7 teams. No, more than 8 teams. Like, that's your ceiling. It's just, you're not going to be elite like you were last year. You'll get to a decent bowl. You know what? You'll probably go 8-4. I think the schedule allows for that. But you can't replace those two guys. That was your offense, and the best part of your team last year was your offense. You're going to have a decent defense. Yes, you will. You'll have a decent defense. But anybody with a halfway decent offense and a halfway decent defense will beat you. So it's not looking good. It's not looking good. You know what they say? You don't know what you have until it's gone. Well, that's Pitt fans right now. I got to go, guys. I had fun. I hope you had fun. The purpose of these live shows and all my videos is to give you a few minutes of distraction for everyday life, because I know everyday life is full of stress and problems and issues, and sometimes you just need a distraction. And sometimes sometimes life's really, really good, and you still want a distraction just to, relax and hang out and watch some college football or talk some college football. So hopefully I provided that distraction. That is my job. My job is to provide you some entertainment and some distraction. So hopefully I did my job. So yeah, we're going to head out of here. Next live show, trying to see if it's going to be Friday or not, because I know we got to travel. No, I'll be back by then. That's early in the day. Next live show, Friday at... Forgot about the West Virginia live show. Hold on. It'll either be at 7 p.m. or 6:30, right around that time. So, yeah, Friday, 6:30, 7-ish, something like that. But for today, have a good day. Appreciate you supporting the channel. Hey, if there's any new people here and you're not subbed, college football videos every day. Every day. If you're a college football fan, this is the channel for you. So please support the channel and hit that subscribe button and enjoy all the videos that I put out, because I'm doing it for you guys. There is no Golden Bluetooth without the viewers and the subscribers. So go on over and hit the subscribe button and see if you like the channel. And hey, if you don't like it, you can always unsubscribe. It doesn't cost a stinking thing. It doesn't. Y'all have a great evening. I'll see you on Friday.